Hi, and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new, I'm Reasonable Tech Reviewer. Today, I will be showing you a tutorial of how to make a custom logo on macOS as my own. I will be using Inkscape, which is an open source vector graphics editor. Let's get started. This video will be divided into 3 parts: design, import, and lastly, the computer editing itself using Inkscape. But before beginning with the design, start off by opening up your web browser. Search for Inkscape and download the program for free. Inkscape is available for macOS, Linux, and Windows.
Follow the instructions for downloading Inkscape.
And remember that this video is not sponsored in any way. First things first, what you want to do is to design your own logo. This part is done by hand with paper and a pen. So therefore, my advice to you is to use your imagination as much as possible and get some inspiration from other logos. I also believe that a simple and clean logo is the success for others to easily recognize you and your brand. This part is probably the hardest when making your logo, but when you've come up with an idea, you are good to go. My last recommendation is to use an abbreviation of your YouTube name as a logo. I prefer not to use the standard camera, but a program called Evernote. When you've downloaded the app, open it up and create an account. The last step is to take a photo by holding down this button. This will allow you to take a photo by pressing the camera icon. Place your phone above your sketched logo and let the app capture a photo automatically. Remember to place your logo on a contrasting background. When you've taken the perfect photo of your logo, save it to your camera roll and export it to your Mac.
Now we finally reached the last part. The first thing you want to do is to basically import your image into Inkscape. Reach for File and select Import. Find your image and import it to the program. Remember that the image is only used as a template, which means it will be removed later on. The area here in the middle is called Page. Page is basically an area where you draw to later on export everything that's inside. It is possible to export drawings that are not included in the page, but I prefer to edit inside of it instead. Therefore, I will first minimize my image by holding down the Control key and dragging this arrow to its opposite corner until it fits the page. By holding down the Control key, you are minimizing the image proportionately. Then, go all the way up to the tab called Objects and select Align and Distribute. A bar on your right hand side should pop up. Set it relative to page and align it both horizontally and vertically. Now you should actually start drawing your logo. Begin with selecting the Bezier tool right here. Bezier tool is shortly said a pen which will enable you to draw curves and straight lines. In my case, I will be beginning with the drawing all the way down here and trace it till the end of my logo using the Bezier tool. Left click to create a starting point and drag the mouse cursor to get a line. To mark or plot the line, you only have to left click it once again. The line between the 2 points you have chosen to create will now turn green from red. To redo and get to the previous step when you're drawing, press the backspace on your keyboard. When you are done with drawing your logo, press Enter on your keyboard. One last piece of advice is how to make smooth and nice edges as in this part of my logo. One way that I use is by beginning right before the start of the edge and skip all the way to the end of the edge. Leave every edge like this until you have drawn your logo. Later on, select this tool, Edit Paths by Nodes. Now you want to select your logo by left-clicking it. Then, grab the middle of your edge and drag it out. This will basically smoothen up your edges and bend it. Repeat the process with all of your edges. The letter T in my logo should have another color for some contrast and to make it more visible. So therefore, I am drawing a new T to be able to color it separately from the rest of my label. At this moment, it is time to color. Select the part you want to color. Hold down the Shift key when selecting multiple parts. Open up Fill and Strokes on your right hand side. Then press Stroke Paint to change the color. As my symbol is slightly thin, I will change the width under Stroke Style. Now it's time to create your main badge. Move your mouse cursor to the toolbar and choose Create Rectangles and Squares. Hold down the Control key and drag to create a square. Make it big enough for your symbol to fit inside of it. By still having the Create Rectangles and Squares tool selected, you should be able to see a circle at the top right edge of your badge. Drag it down to create some soft edges. Enable the Select tool, lower selection to bottom, and center it. Once again, I will be changing the color. This time I am changing both the fill and the stroke color under Fill and Stroke. We are now headed to form some illumination on the badge. The imaginary light will be situated at the top left corner, shining all the way down to its opposite corner. To do so, you have to select Linear Gradient. Linear Gradient is a color effect which creates a linear transition between two colors. Then you have to press G on your keyboard. As soon as you've pressed G, a line inside your badge will appear. Now you can move it to create a light effect originating from the left top corner, which will reduce as closer the bottom right corner it reaches. Lower the opacity of the fill to make the light look more natural and vivid. The next thing on our list to form is a big rectangle and use it as a back cover. Enable the select tool, then lower selection to bottom, center it, and change the fill color. Last but not least, it is time to create the shadows. First, you want to drag out some guidelines at a 45-degree angle. Do it by moving your cursor all the way up to this edge. Left click and hold it down while dragging it out. Place 2 guidelines at each edge of your main badge. Place another 2 guidelines touching your logo symbol. Make sure that the guidelines are perfectly positioned by zooming in a little bit extra while positioning them. The shadow should be covering this area right here. Therefore, select the Bezier tool and start drawing the enclosing boundary of the shadow on the inside of your symbol. Further on, keep following the guidelines and the inside of the main badge. Pick edit paths by nodes and adapt the shadow to the curves of your symbol. Repeat this process with every edge. The next shadow will be on the bigger badge. Repeat the same process as before or keep following the video tutorial. When you finally have created the second shadow, move the cursor up and click Lower Selection one step several times until you actually have sent the shadow behind your main badge. I really do hope that you have enjoyed the video and that your final result was better than you expected. Sorry for the late update. My next upload will hopefully be released next weekend. I'm aiming for a review of a backpack that I have used the last couple of days to school. Remember to hit that subscribe button and leave a like or two. Just kidding. Thanks for watching. See you next week.
Face going around this cul-de-sac. How old is that? I noticed that the very thing that holds us back the most is where this coach is at. That me-centered mentality. Remember that we've entered into a family.